Welcome, comic enthusiasts.
And X-Men fans.
And X-Men fans, and Marvel fans, and fans of Marvel movies, or whatever you're a fan of. Today we're diving into the captivating world of the Uncanny X-Men. It's our first time that we're doing a show specifically on the X-Men. Specifically on this episode, we're going to look at one of the best arcs in X-Men history, Days of Future Past. This story, penned by Chris Claremont and illustrated by John Byrne, takes the X-Men on a time-bending journey that has left a lasting impact on the Marvel Universe. It was even turned into a blockbuster movie, which we will also be discussing.
Yeah. And just to start off with, younger people right now may not realize that the X-Men, when this story was published, was probably the most popular comic book from Marvel, and remained that way well through the 1990s.
Yeah. Chris Claremont's writing just propelled them into the next level of comic book heroes.
Yeah, and now because of the movies, I think the Avengers and those characters have kind of overtaken them a little bit, but the X-Men used to be the flagship title of Marvel.
Absolutely.
Through the 80s
in
and
the
90s.
80s and 90s, 100% they were. And there was a lot of like spin-offs, X-Force and New Mutants. They did a lot of different X-Mutant titles.
Crossovers and such.
Because they were so popular with fans.
Yep. And this is the kind of story that made them popular.
This is one of my favorite X-Men stories.
Mine too.
So, you might be asking yourself, what is Days of Future Past about? At its core, Days of Future Past is a dystopian tale where a dark future unfolds, featuring Sentinels controlling America and a world where mutants are hunted to extinction. The X-Men, who are on the run and close to being wiped out, have to try to prevent this apocalyptic future. So Kitty Pryde's consciousness is sent back in time to her younger self, aiming to alter the course of history. You'll see later that the movie is just a little bit different in how they tell the story. The story brilliantly weaves together the past and future X-Men, showcasing the enduring relationship between characters, from the resilient Wolverine to the powerful Jean Grey and the strategic Professor Xavier. Each member plays a crucial role in the fight against impending doom. Artist John Byrne is nothing short of spectacular, capturing the intensity of the narrative with dynamic visuals. The dystopian future is portrayed with a gritty realism, while the past is brought to life with vibrant colors, enhancing the emotional impact of each panel.
John Byrne is one of those very rare comic illustrators who actually, his talent never faded through his career.
No, he's been great from day one.
He was consistently great all the way through.
Absolutely.
A lot of other superstar artists, you see, they start out strong and then they start to get a little too much themselves in a way, like almost like they whatever is idiosyncratic about their art gets highlighted and the art just gets kind of
try to get
strange.
Their art to be more recognizable.
Yeah, I'm kind of thinking like the recent stuff by Frank Miller, which is kind of just weird looking.
Yeah, it's very odd looking.
Yeah, or
that
Rob
Wolverine cover he did recently
it's very weird.
It doesn't look like even him, but John Byrne has stayed consistent throughout.
all the way through. George Perez was another.
His time with Marvel, he did a huge thing for Superman with DC.
Yeah,
but his art happens to be one of my favorite, and he's a really good writer too.
Yeah, he does. He does really good. It's rare that you find people who do both really well.
And this is one of his first big, delves into art of Marvel. So it's the first one he became really popular for, and Chris Claremont's writing is amazing in it.
It's so good in this,
Moments like Wolverine's solo mission, the Sentinel's relentless pursuit, and the heartbreaking sacrifices made by the X-Men resonated with readers, making Days of Future Past a roller coaster of emotions. Did you ever read it?
Oh yeah, many times.
It's a narrative that explores the consequences of choices and the resilience of the human spirit. It is listed by many fans, myself included, as their favorite X-Men story arc ever.
Yeah, it's up there for me. That and Dark Phoenix are both up there.
This is a great story.
Yeah.
The impact of Days of Future Past extended far beyond its original publication. It has inspired various adaptations, including the highly praised 2014 film. The storyline's theme of time travel, sacrifice, and the fight for a better future continued to resonate with fans, cementing its place as a classic in the X-Men canon. So let's talk a little about the film X-Men Days of Future Past. It was directed by Bryan Singer, The cinematic adaptation brings the iconic comic storyline to life in a thrilling and visually stunning manner.
Now, I agree with a lot of people who say that the movie is one of the best of the X-Men films.
Agreed.
Made by Fox, for sure.
Agreed.
It definitely is up there as one of the better ones with Wolverine and Logan, too. The only thing that really bothered me was that one of my favorite characters, Kitty Pryde, wasn't really involved that much.
And she was such an important part in the comic.
She's a huge part of the comic.
She's actually, her only part is she sends him back. Right?
Yeah.
She's the one who she does
Pretty
the thing
much,
where she sends his consciousness back.
Oh, no, I thought that was in the movie. Isn't it Jean who does that?
No.
No?
I think that's Kitty Pryde. Because it's what's her name? Who's now...
Yeah. It's Elliot Page.
Elliot Page.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But Kitty Pryde was actually one of my favorite characters in the X-Men in the 80s. Yeah. And even now.
But you understand why they couldn't.
Yeah, I know why they couldn't.
Hugh Jackman is the big star. Right. So they had to work in that Wolverine goes back. Mm-hmm. And in all honesty, if you really think about it, if you're trying to save the X-Men, who makes more sense to send back? Does it make more sense to send Kitty Pryde back, who had been very young when she goes back, or does it make sense to send Wolverine back? And also the time is a little shifted too. So they're sending, in the original comic,
they're going from the 80s.
They send them back. Don't they send them back to the 80s?
Yeah, to the 80s. Yeah.
In this one, they send them to the 70s before he's even part of the X-Men.
Right. I guess the reason that disappoints me is like Kitty Pryde for me is kind of like Spider-Man.
Right.
That she's the character who's closest to the reader. And like the reader's avatar.
Right.
You know, and you're experiencing the story through her. And it's harder to do that with Wolverine, I think.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
To experience. I don't think as a comic book, you need that guide.
Right.
In the movie, you don't.
Yeah, maybe you don't need it as much.
So it made. I mean, if you really think
that makes sense.
Hugh
Jackman is a much bigger star.
Who else would you have sent back in time in the movie world? Maybe Magneto you could have sent back with that.
Caused so much damage.
There you go, though. But who do you send back? And I think the casting of Trask was perfect.
Yeah, that was good. Mm-hmm.
Making him Trask was a good...
Yep.
What have you been doing for the past 50 years? Do you feel safer? More secure? Because we've spent the last 50 years ensuring your peace of mind. At Trask Industries, we know there's nothing more precious, nothing worth fighting for more than your future, our future. Here's to the next 50 years. At Trask Industries, we're solving tomorrow's problems today.
Yep.
The whole part where we see the files with them dead is really a homage to that cover.
Yep. Yes, with the slain.
They couldn't show that. They couldn't be a poster that showed that, but they did it with the deaths of characters that we saw in other movies.
Right.
They really did a lot there. So let's talk more about the movie. As the movie kicks off, much like the comic book, the X-Men are in a dystopian future where mutants are on the brink of extinction, hunted down by colossal Sentinels. My disappointment in the movie was they didn't look exactly like the ones in the comics.
Yeah, right, that purple.
That's what I expected to see. In a desperate bid to change their fate, Professor Xavier and Magneto devise a plan to send Wolverine, not Kitty Pryde's, conscious back to the 1970s, not the 1980s. A pivotal period where they can alter the course of history. One of the film's strengths lies in the stellar cast, which blends the original X-Men actors and their younger selves from First Class. Hugh Jackman's Wolverine takes center stage, serving as the bridge between the two timelines, while the conflicted relationship between young Xavier and Magneto adds depth to the narrative. Visually, Days of Future Past is a feast for the eyes. The mixture of the desolate future with the vibrant 1970s creates a captivating contrast.
I feel like that's how I'm living.
You're really doing
the golden age of the 70s, and now I'm living in the desolate future.
We're close to being desolate. The action sequences, particularly the Quicksilver kitchen scene, which is fantastic.
Oh, it's the best.
Showcases the film's dynamic choreography and special effects prowess. The movie masterfully tackles the complexity of time travel, seamlessly weaving together past and future events. The consequences of altering the timeline are explored with both suspense and emotional weight, keeping audiences on the edge of their seats. From Wolverine's mission in the past to the emotional confrontation between characters, Days of Future Past delivers memorable moments. The film successfully captures the essence of the original comic while adding its own cinematic flair. As a pivotal installment of the X-Men's film series, Days of Future Past not only resets the timeline within the narrative, but also reinvigorates the franchise. Its impact extends beyond its release, influencing subsequent X-Men films and showcasing the potential of superhero storytelling on the big screen. With the X-Men set to soon join... Wait, no, they joined already. We won't talk any more about that. Gotta see the movies that come out and the TV shows that they air. No spoilers. The X-Men are set to become a huge part of the Marvel Universe.
As they should be.
As they have always should have been. Mm-hmm. So we may see a resurgence in the X-Men, like Brian said earlier. The Avengers now are probably the top of the Marvel food chain.
Yeah.
But with the set of new movies that are supposed to come out and supposed to include mutants, we may see a uplifting of the X-Men back to that top spot that they had in the 80s and 90s.
Well, for older fans like us, the X-Men and the Fantastic Four missing from the MCU was a huge gaping hole.
Huge.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Which is supposed to be rectified
Hopefully.
soon. We hope they do it right.
Yeah.
I hope they finally make a Fantastic Four movie that is watchable.
We're looking at you, Pedro.
I hope so. I really do. I know everybody's been touting that the Marvel Universe is dead and the movies aren't good and, what's going to happen next. And now they're set to only release one movie in 2024 from what I understand.
Yeah.
I'm hoping that the X-Men can be used in so many different platforms. They could definitely do a series, TV show. You could pick any character from the X-Men. The X-Men to me could easily be another Guardians of the Galaxy.
Sure.
Where you take a group of characters that are not well known. You don't take a Wolverine, you don't take a Deadpool, you take characters you don't know, put them together in some scenario and go with that.
Yeah.
That could be the resurgence of the Marvel Universe.
Right.
As we conclude our exploration of Days of Future's Past, it's clear that this storyline is a testament to the enduring appeal of the X-Men. Whether you're a longtime fan or a newcomer to the world of mutants, the comic is a must-read and the film is a must-see, offering a gripping narrative that transcends the boundaries of time. Thank you for joining us on this journey into the world of the Uncanny X-Men. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more comic book explorations. Until next time, true believers,
collect what you love.
Love what you collect. Thanks for watching. We will see you.